Hello, my name's Richard, and I have this channel, Pan Celtic Piper. That name dates back to when I was playing Irish pipes, Scottish pipes, the Spanish pipes, the Cornish pipes, trying to do all the different Celtic countries. That was my deal. Not kind of really into that anymore. And a lot of my old videos have very bad sound quality, so I'm going to go and remake them. And one of the videos that got a lot of views was Irish whistle ornamentation, the cuts, paps, and rolls. And this is a D whistle. I'll just use that. It's pretty much a standard whistle. Now this particular one's a Killarney, which I really like. So with cuts, a cut is just an upper grace note. And so the most basic one is if you're playing the note B, because you only have one finger you can cut with. Then if you play A, you have two choices. Now notice if you play a C cut, you don't lift both fingers. You just lift one. With cuts, you're only lifting one finger at a time. Now G, you have more choices. F sharp, you have more, and you get more and more choices as you go down. However, the way I learned was to cut the whole lower hand with this finger, the upper hand ring finger. So G and F sharp. And once again, if you're playing an A cut on bottom D, you're not lifting all your fingers, you're just lifting the one. Now, the second octave is the same, except that in some, especially low whistles and Irish flutes, doing this cut on E in the second octave, now it sounds fine on a high whistle, but let's see if, I don't know if I can get that effect on a low whistle where you can hear this is a low C whistle. That sounds okay. Some whistles, it just doesn't, especially in the Irish flute, sometimes that cut in the second octave just doesn't sound very good. Yeah, those are working. And anyway, if that is the case in the whistle, you'll see people to cut E in the second octave, use this finger instead. It'll make it a little bit clearer cut than using this one. But in general, the same cuts work in the second octave. See, that's a little funky. You might want to use this one or this one. The middle finger of the lower hand or the index finger of the lower hand for that middle D. Now, you see I'm playing middle D with this finger down. I play both. They really don't sound that much different. I have heard people, by the way, use vibrato, which is kind of a funky vibrato. In any case, it does make the cut sound different. So if you're playing an open middle D, what the cuts really are is they're really a C. That's more down like a B or something, but it's a lower note. And if you have this finger down, it's a higher note. So it gets a different effect. Doesn't really matter. Now, the easiest cuts to do are the ones where you're just parked on the same note and just cutting it. But often in Irish tunes, it's not like that. Often you're doing a cut while you're moving, and that's more challenging because if you're just parked in a note, you're just moving one finger, just the cutting finger. But if the melody's changing, then you've got changes with the melody fingers too. And a basic kind of rule to make them clean, it's sometimes difficult for people to coordinate Say if you're going from A to B with a C grace note. What you don't want is this to come up and go back down and then go there. You want it coordinated. Likewise, when you're going down, you don't want to go. You want to have it clean. And that's for any of the cuts. So, we're going up. And down here in the lower hand. More fingers are involved. Let's say if you're here, see, you've got 4 fingers in motion. Sorry. You wouldn't do that one very often. But it's just a matter of coordinating all those fingers. So that's the cuts. Now with pats, they're a lot simpler. It's just popping your finger. You have to do it quickly, and you have to seal. If you kind of miss the hole and you get like a fuzzy thing, it's not going to be that clear popping sound that you want. So you're really kind of snapping. And they're the same in the second octave. Not much to it. You will see sometimes people play cuts with more than one note, more than one finger going down. So like instead of, like say you're F sharp, instead of going, you hear people going. Say you're playing G. Now notice with G you can play it open or you can have a finger on there. It doesn't matter. A lot of the old school players would have that finger down for these notes. And you can pop those too. You see some players pop both of these fingers, especially uilleann pipers. When they're playing a B pat, they might pat both fingers instead of just the one. And then you put those together and you get what's called a roll. So we're playing E, playing a cut with this upper hand ring finger, and then patting it. Then F sharp, still cutting with the same finger. G, A, and a B. So that's long rolls. And you'll see a tune, part of a tune, which is basically constructed of nothing but long rolls. I got an arpeggio in there. You know. Now then there's another kind of roll which is called a short roll. And short rolls are, instead of having, they just start on the cut. So and if you're moving, if you're coming from another note to a short roll, you have the same issues involved, technical issues involved as moving to a different note with a single grace note, because you're having to attack. So if you're going from a D to G with a short roll, first you have to get there with that cut. Then the pat. And then same with going down. There's another, sometimes instead of doing a short roll like that, they'll do kind of a thing that sort of takes up the same space as a short roll, just a different effect going. It's smoother. So instead of going, they might go. Which is different from. Now, what about rolls on C and C sharp and D? Because obviously I haven't talked about those. Because you can't play really normal rolls. So on D, both low D and middle D, you just can play a couple grace notes. And then on C natural, which I'll finger like that with these two fingers down, and often I'll have that one on there too. Pop those and you get the upper grace note. And this gets the lower grace note. It is fairly common to kind of bend into a roll. And then C sharp, I never roll C sharp. It's tough. What I do, if I do have to do it, is I leave these three fingers down, pop these two to get the upper grace note, and then pop that one. So this is my cut in effect, and that's my pat. It's too much work for me. Now I should talk about, there's something called the double cut roll, which some people go, oh, why are you talking about those? But I might as well, because you'll hear them sometimes. And a double cut roll is, say, if you have, instead of going, here's your A roll, right? You can go. See, I'm doing two cuts and then the pat. Now, double cut sometimes when you get down to E starts sounding kind of funky, especially in the second octave. See, that cut doesn't do much up there, right? Yeah, it doesn't give you much of a double cut. So down there I use these two fingers for E. And then low octave is fine. And I think that'll kind of do it for cuts, pats, and rolls.